So I haven't been out on an e-bike for about 3 weeks, and it's mainly down to the weather, but it's not too bad today. It's still a bit slippy, and I've been dealing with that trike that I've got as well, so I've been filming stuff for that. And I've had a new seat come for the trike, which is a comfort seat, which I'm looking forward to fitting and doing an how-to. Next week I'm hopefully finally going to get this extra battery on here, but at the moment I am so backwards with work that I haven't had time to do anything. So today we're going to be talking about e-bikes and what e-bikes suit you and what frames you should go for. So I'm going to start with these cafe style racer e-bikes like the M20 and the S73 and all those. And if you do decide to go for one, what you need to be careful of is the fact that these frames you'll have to fit to you. So if you're within a certain height range, you're not going to be too compromised. But if you're sort of 6 foot and above or 5 foot tall, these frames across the board don't seem to, they're a compromise across the board. But when you look at the M20, its biggest compromise was that seat. You weren't able to shuffle backwards unlike you can on the S73. And that comes in a couple of sizes. With the M20, you haven't got that choice. So you're sort of compromised when you're sitting on the seat, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Unless, like with the M20, you increase the height of the seat. There was a mod where you could actually put yourself, make yourself a little printable seat riser, which again is another compromise. So, and then you get into folding frame e-bikes. So whilst you can fit most of these around you instead of you around them, they also have their negatives, which is essentially the fact that it's a folding frame and it's weakened at that point. As I found with the Engwe, and it's not just Engwe out there that has this problem, that these frames aren't the most sturdy. And after watching the L20 2.0 review yesterday, thinking, well, that's even less sturdy than the previous one. I do like the fact that it's got lighter wheels. I do like the fact that the L20 2.0 has, a 52 amp battery, 52 volt battery. But what I don't like about it is, again, it's all the same problems Engwe builds into their bikes. That suspension seat looks crap. It's the same crap forks that they use on all their 20-inch bikes. It's mechanical brakes. Anything over 30 kilos needs hydraulics. And there's a lot of people out there that tell you, oh, well, these mechanical brakes are fine. They're not. They're not, especially if you're an heavyweight and you're riding along 250 pound and you've then got a 60 pound bike. Well, it's actually 70 pound with the battery, wouldn't it? That's a lot of weight to try stopping its speed with crappy mechanical brakes. So within that, you're looking at a compromise there with these foldable bikes. But I still prefer the original L20, obviously, because I'm not a big fan of that gooseneck. We've seen those snap before, and they're not much fun, obviously, when you're riding along and that snaps. And then you're into fixed step-throughs or fixed bikes. Well, I start with fixed step-throughs. Fixed step-throughs are a compromise if you want a folding bike, but they're sturdier, they're more solid. The frame on this is solid. It's just that the components on it aren't as good as I thought they were going to be. But this frame is absolutely solid. And Engwe has its own, step-through systems that it uses, like on the L20. And And for me, they're my preferred bike. You can't beat a step through. And then you're into the 26-inch frames, and the foldable ones. I actually watched a review. You might, well, I've actually posted it on my Facebook page that somebody did about the X26 in the UK, and it's laughable because he said he was unable to ride it for legal reasons, and he's right. And just watching him trying to get that battery out to charge it, it was just awkward. And it had you have no reason to need a 26-inch folding e-bike. Why would you need that? If you're getting a 26-inch bike, you don't need it to be able to fold, because that's not what you bought it for. But then you've also got this thing with all the 20-inch foldables out there do the job better than anything that a 26-inch bike would do. It's almost laughable. So if you're in the marketplace for a nice 26-inch fat tyre bike, the sky's the limit. You've got a lot of choices out there. I don't know which one I'd go for. It wouldn't be anything by Engwe. With Cyresha letting me down, whereas I might have looked at the Ranger, which I was looking at for my Out for Heroes run later in the year, until they called me a liar and a few other things, which was a bit rich coming from them. Yeah, I wouldn't buy it. Not knowing now what I know about their customer service just being as bad as Engwe's. Because you're looking at a £3,000 e-bike, and to spend £3,000 on an e-bike, you want something a little bit decent, and it ain't as decent as we thought it was. And with the lack of customer service, you're pretty much getting bent over again by another Chinese e-bike company. So which then brings me on to my next point. These Chinese e-bike companies, they don't see customer service as being a priority. I think Engwe's trying to up its game, which fair play to them. As much as I can't stand Engwe, they are making efforts here and there. But after seeing that reply yesterday about, again on my Facebook channel, about the fact that the guy that was meant to be reviewing it said it was illegal, and their reply was, well, you can ride it on private land. But who's got private land? You can't even ride it in parks, because that's not private land. So it's finding somewhere you can ride it. It's illegal, whichever way you look at it. And that was the X26. That was such a funny video. I've actually put a link to that video in my comments, because you've got to watch it. It's brilliant. And it's just nice to see once now and again that somebody's being honest about these bikes. Because most of the time, nobody's being honest with them. They're getting free bikes, and like you've seen all before, I've showed you before, you can just see this framework that they all sit within, this pattern of how these reviews have to go. You know, it starts off with, you know, oh, this has come in the post, blah, 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 and then you do an unboxing, and then you show the specs of the bike, and then you take it for a ride. But my argument with these reviews is, how can you review a bike properly in a day, maybe 2 days tops? How do you know what the pitfalls on this bike are going to be in 2 days? You can't do that, and nobody's actually going back. Well, I've actually seen a few go back, but on the majority, they're not going back sort of 6 months later, 1,000 miles later, 1,500 miles later, and showing you the pitfalls of owning one of these bikes. And there's going to be pitfalls, especially if it's Chinese, so you're not learning about, let's say, you're not learning about customer service, you're not learning about things that you're seeing on the forums go wrong with them. I mean, initially with Engwe, they were having a problem with fender failure. And nobody was going to find that out straight away, but it was a few months into the bike being released that people were saying their fenders were breaking off and, you know, causing the wheel to jam. And then you've got things like, you've got things like controller failure, you know, the brakes being crap, the frame snapping, you know, the gooseneck snapping, the headset failing. And we never saw, you can never get that in, and nobody's going to put that in a 2-day video. They're not going to come across any of these problems. So how are these reviews any good to anybody? They're the same old crap, and it's just cheating marketing. It's a way of cheating. It's a way, and it's gonna come a cropper for most of these companies using these influencers, because eventually people are going to start seeing through influencer videos. And this is what I tried to get across on my YouTube channel, that this isn't what you think it is. This is a guy that's been sent an e-bike, in some cases being paid to review the bike. I doubt Matt on Tail Happy TV gives a good review to that L20 for free, because normally he'll pick up on mechanical brakes and say, oh, they're not good enough. You can watch some of his videos, but in the new L20 2.0 video, he's been going on about, oh, these are good enough. And it's like, they're not good enough. You know they're not good enough. You've been paid to say they're good enough. They're not. It's the cheapest option. And that aggravates me. As much as I like his videos as a whole, crap like that just I see straight through it. And you should too. When you're looking in buying an e-bike, this is what you should be looking for. When you see a review of an e-bike, it needs to be genuine. The ones that I put on mine are genuine. So I'm going to go back and re-review this in a few weeks' time, and show the pitfalls of it. And that'll go up on my channel, saying like the things that I need to get out there, which their customer service is shit. Some of the parts that they've got on here, as good as they look, they fail too. Anything goes wrong with your bike within whatever, you're going to struggle to get any money out of them. And now they're denying, I actually posted on my YouTube channel that they're looking into the fire thing, and I should be posting this and this about it. Well, you can't stop me. You had a fire with one of your bikes. So as far as I'm concerned, until you prove it wasn't caused by your battery, it's fair game. You need to look at me as being a journalist, because I'm allowed to write what I want, say what I want. I'm not in China. Nobody's going to put me in prison. So you're going to have to put up with me. Annoying, innit? So to all my Psy Russia followers out there that follow me just to see what I'm up to and what I'm doing to slag you off, you brought this on yourself. You brought this on yourself because you called me a liar. Just out to get free e-bikes. Well, I often do a lot of work for you for a free e-bike, and for what I earn an hour, and this was all for charity. So I'm not putting up with the fact that it was miscommunication because of the language barrier. That's not my problem. Bugs me sometimes. Bugs me that I'm trying to, you know, do a good thing, but people are making me out to be one thing and another through a guise of, well, that's not what we said. It's exactly what you said. This new motor feels a lot better. It's not. It's not as noisy as the old one. I knew even when I fixed it, I knew the all sensors were going to fail again. I mean, to a certain degree, you can't really blame Psy Russia for that. It's a component failure, and it's pretty much all down to Bafang. But I look at it this way: at least this motor is better than the Suto motors that Engwe use. They're pretty crap. So today we're riding around beautiful Wakefield. That was a genuine cough, honestly. In fact, there's some parts of Wakefield that are genuinely stunning. We're just going past Pinderfields Hospital at the moment. So this week I'm going to finally get round to putting the second battery on my e-bike. I haven't had time to do anything recently because I'm so stoked out with work, doing this video channel that I'm doing with some partners. doing website work, just doing updates, and then I'm prepping for billing, which starts in a couple of months, well, a month's time now. So I need to get billing prepped for 600 clients and get on with that, bring some money in. So that comes before my YouTube channel, I'm afraid, because this doesn't pay me anything. This is just half an hobby. So yeah, once I get this new battery on, I'll give it a range test when it warms up a bit. But at the moment it's still only 8 degrees here. It's like my fingers are freezing again. I didn't think it was that cold out today, but they're freezing as usual. So and the other thing is, getting out and having to do these videos every 5 minutes, I'm not enjoying my bikes as much as I should be. So I need to be able to get out and ride these and have some fun with them again, rather than just doing videos for a video channel. It's nice occasionally just to get out on this thing and just enjoy riding it. Although I am enjoying getting out on that trike, that Yamaha Tricity 300 thing. The range on that is unlimited, obviously, unlike this, as long as you put petrol in it. And I am enjoying it. It's just an heavy beast. With me on, it's over 1/4 ton, and you can feel that weight when you're at traffic. It does have a stabilisation button that you can push and keep your feet down on the footrest without actually putting your feet down. But every time I pull away from traffic after using that, it seems to get a bit squirrely. Maybe it's something I just need to get used to, but other people mention it on the forums, and I'm sort of like, I think it's just something that I need to get used to. Well, it is an heavy beast. Well, it does, you know, it says hundreds of the gallon at certain speeds. I seem to be getting about 80s to the gallon out of it, which is great. Come summer, I'm going to be using it a lot. As well as this, I've ordered a trailer for this as well. I've not ordered it from Russia because at £550, that's the biggest rip-off on the planet. And who needs 20-inch wheels on a trailer? Well, I found one with 16-inch wheels on, I think it is, 4-inch tyres. So, and it's pretty much just over half the price. So I'm waiting for that to turn up for the summer so I can carry all my photography kit around with me. As I say, I'll be taking this channel into other areas as well as e-bikes, because the e-bike thing's pretty limited. And my followers, I don't think, understand what it takes to put together something like this. It's not something full-time. I'm not getting paid, and I'd rather do stuff that people are interested in. So, you know, my channel is going to be devoted to the Yamaha. It's going to be sort of partially devoted to another moped I've seen, which is a 750 ATV that Honda makes, and it's fabulous. So that's going to be another bike I'm buying. I'm possibly going to be buying either an Toyota FJ thing. They're fabulous. First time I ever saw one of them was in Dubai, and that must have been about 20 years ago. But they're cracking things. Suicide doors, go anywhere. They're not exactly what people look at and go, oh, that's a nice looking thing. They're a bit Marmite, but I like things that are a bit Marmite. So I'm either going to buy one of them, or I'm going to buy a proper camper van, because I could do with one, mainly for trailing the bikes around. But that'll be later this year when I get time to go looking at stuff. But at the moment, like I say, I'm up to my eyeballs in work, and you know, it's coming to being sort of 3rd or 4th down the list of things that I've got on. Plus in the summer I'm going to do a charity ride, John O'Groats down to Land's End on an e-bike. Looking for a sponsor for that, if anybody wants to sponsor me. Not an e-bike, but anything you want sponsoring I can stick on the side of the trailer. Plus I'll be videoing it from beginning to end, and that'll all be going up on my YouTube channel. So something close to my heart anyway, something I'm going to enjoy doing. So that's it for this week. I'll try and get something in next week when I do the Russia extended battery video, and then after that it's going to be sort of like when I get time to do stuff. But once I've got my building out of the way, there's going to be more on the video channel concerning the e-bike stuff and the moped, because I'm going to have more time to do it, and I'm going to want to get out of the house over the summer. So have a nice weekend, everyone. Bye.